Today we are comparing DJI's Mini 2 with DJI's MAVIC Air 2. Oh, I'm so bored already. Needs to be done. Okay, let's crack on. Stewart here from Drone Film Guide, the channel where we learn to fly like filmmakers and take photographs and do all kinds of cool stuff. Regulars know I'm not that interested in the drones themselves. It's what you can do with them that gets me excited. A new perspective in the sky that was previously impossible. And now that we have a Mini 2, which takes raw photographs and 4K video, these opportunities are more affordable than ever, and that is exciting. But rightly so, many of you will be asking, should I get the new Mini 2 or should I pay up for the MAVIC Air 2? So let's look at the differences and I'll hopefully help you with that decision. Let's get a couple of things out in the open from the outset in a most likely futile attempt to reduce the number of comments below with people going, my drone is better than your drone. Okay, right, we're not going to do that. These are two completely different drones. The MAVIC Air 2 is twice the price of the MAVIC Mini. I'll put the prices up here somewhere. So it's not even a fair comparison. It's a whole different ball game. Also, I don't know what your goals are. I don't know what your needs are from a drone. I don't know how much money you have. I don't know if you already own a drone. I don't know anything, so I can't say what the right drone is for you. All I can do is give you some facts and a little bit of my opinion to help you on your way. So let's not get all stressy about this. If you own either of these drones, you're a very lucky person. So enjoy it and get busy figuring out how to use them rather than freaking out about the specifications. Anyway, first up, let's look at the physical characteristics. Obviously, the headline feature of the Mini is it weighs 249 grams, which has registration implications in various countries, and that is a good thing. So happy days. If that's important to you, you'll have to get the Mini. That being said, now that the Mini 2 has the same controller as the MAVIC Air 2 and it's rather large and rather heavy, it has to be said, the size differential of the package as a whole is not that significant. Added to that, you're probably going to be carrying some spare batteries, some filters, some spare propellers. If you get the Fly More combo, the bag is exactly the same size, irrespective of which drone you get. So, unless the 249 gram thing is a massive issue for you, then I wouldn't give too much consideration to the fact that the Mini is smaller than the Air 2. By the way, I'm consulting our DJI drone purchasing guide. It's a useful chart so you can look through all of the specifications of these various drones listed out nice and neatly and clearly and concisely. So grab yourself a copy of that. The link is in the description below. On quick inspection, there are a lot of similarities between these two drones. On paper, the flight time is roughly the same, 31 minutes versus 34 minutes. We have OcuSync 2.0 on both these drones, which is fantastic, but we're looking for differences here, and they both have OcuSync 2.0 with a stated transmission range of 10 kilometers. Both of these drones shoot 12 megapixel raw photos, and they both shoot real-time video at 4K resolution. So let's dig into the chart and find out what the differences are and why you'd pay more for the MAVIC Air 2. Starting with some physical characteristics, the Air 2 has front and backwards facing obstacle avoidance sensors, which are very, very valuable. If they stop you crashing your drone, then you've saved quite a lot of money. By comparison, the Mini 2 doesn't, and it is quite easy to crash. It's very easy to get carried away flying a drone. So if you break your drone, you're going to have to buy another one. Then you might as well have just bought the Air 2 in the first place. Next up, the Air 2 is more powerful and it is faster than the Mini 2. This gives more comfort when flying in windy conditions, and it makes it easier to create smooth cinematic moves irrespective of what the wind is doing. The Mini 2 has made great strides in comparison with the Mini 1, but that being said, the Air 2 is still a more stable flight experience, and in my opinion, this has some value. The Air 2 has 8 GB of internal storage, the Mini 2 has none. This is extremely valuable because it is very easy to forget to take your memory cards with you and arrive on location only to realise they are still stuck in your computer. Both these drones have quick shots, which, as I've said many times, are fantastic ways of creating cinematic shots, especially as solo pilots. Check out a recent video about that. But the Mini 2 does not have intelligent flight modes, so we are missing Active Track, and in particular Active Track Spotlight, my favourite intelligent flight mode. That, for me, would be a reason to pay up for the Air 2. Looking at the photography specs, both of these drones take 12 megapixel raw photos, but the Air 2 has another trick up its sleeve, which is 48 megapixel raw photos, which is a genuinely useful function when it comes to cropping in and looking at a small part of a much bigger image. Looking at the video performance of these two drones, the camera specs are roughly the same. We have a fixed aperture of f2.8, we have a fixed focal length equivalent of 24mm, and we have a fixed focusing system. We do have a slightly bigger sensor on the Air 2. It's a 1/2 inch sensor versus the 1/2.3 inch sensor on the Mini 2, so in theory that would give us slightly better low light performance, although I haven't tested it because I can't be bothered. But I am much more interested in the 4K frame rates that we get on the Air 2. Here we have 4K frame rates all the way up to 60 frames per second, which means we get buttery smooth slow motion at 4K. That for me is a genuinely valuable addition that is worth paying up for in terms of the Air 2. And if we look at the 1080p frame rates, they go all the way up to 240 frames per second at pretty good quality, it has to be said, versus 60 frames per second on the Mini 2. Again, that is something that is worth paying for. We get two colour profiles on the MAVIC Air 2, normal and D-Cine-like, and I do like shooting in D-Cine-like. It's a little bit desaturated and it's not too contrasty, so there's more latitude for grading those colours in post. That being said, I wouldn't call the colour profile, the only colour profile that we get on the Mini 2, a drawback. It's fairly neutral, there's no strong look baked in, and it does look pretty good straight off the memory card. Sticking with video, a nice addition on the Air 2 that is worth paying up for is the HDR video. It can yield some pretty great results in high contrast scenes, so we're talking about sunrise and sunset. You do get more colour and more detail in the highlights and the shadows when you use the HDR video mode. The MAVIC Air 2 gives us the option of shooting with the H.265 video codec, which means smaller file sizes. That is good. It also has 120 megabits per second video bitrate versus 100 megabits per second video bitrate. I've never placed too much emphasis on those numbers, I have to say, because I haven't witnessed that being a good indicator of improvement in picture quality. On the whole, I would say these two produce pretty much the same video quality, which is a massive compliment for the Mini 2. But they both fall into that same category of that quite sharp, clear, crisp look, which is perfect for the task at hand. They do not, however, give you the more professional functionality of the 10-bit D-Log picture profile you get on a Mavic 2 Pro. So in conclusion, which of these drones is best? Well, obviously the Air 2 is the best drone. Which of these drones is the best value? Probably the Mini 2. It's hard to argue that for the price, what you get with this drone is absolutely outstanding. As for which drone you should buy, well, I don't really know. I don't know how much money you've got. I don't know what drone you've already got, if at all, so it's hard for me to say. What I can say is that the Mini 2 is just a great starting point, and you can produce really great footage from it, even though DJI markets it as a beginner entry-level fun drone for couples on their holidays and blah blah blah. You can get professional results from that drone, but you are going to enjoy the upgrades that come with the Air 2. The obstacle avoidance, the extra power, 48 megapixel raw photography, 4K slow motion, HDR video, intelligent flight modes. There are quite a lot of reasons to pay up for the Air 2. Do grab yourself a copy of that comparison chart. It is quite useful and it will help you with your purchasing decision, and we will see you next time.